What's up, everybody? Listen, you know the drill. Hit like and subscribe, turn on your notifications, and then let's get after it. Hi, hello, and welcome to your favorite Average or Good podcast. Call it what you want. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Charlie Chuck Wagon Davies and Tony Big Tones Meola, and we're excited to get into it today. We're coming off a big October window, only 3 windows left. And how are you feeling about that, Big Tones? Overall, the time is dwindling, as they say.
Well, I'm feeling a lot better about what's happening with the group now than I probably did, heading into the September window, and actually looking forward to November and what it looks like. And we'll talk about today who's kind of made the grade, who maybe jumped up, who stayed the same, and all of that stuff like we always do. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling much better about the group. I think the vibe around the team is much better. Of course, we listen to other pundits and guys that, ex-national team players that we talk to and that we listen to and see. And it seems like the sentiment is kind of leaning that way, right? Some go a little bit further than the others, and some maybe a little bit less enthused, but it's a direction that's going up, let's say, and I feel good about that.
Yeah, I feel good about that as well. Does Charlie Davies feel the same way as us? Are you swimming in positivity, Chuck?
When am I not swimming in positivity?
Here he goes. Look at that tone he's taking with us, everybody.
Wow.
Already antagonistic.
Yeah.
Already getting defensive and antagonistic. Oh, yeah, I'm positive. I'm super positive. Positive
I'm
all
always
the time.
positive. What are you, crazy? No, I think it took a while to get here, right? And now we're at a position where we're starting to see the core shape up. And it's always interesting because when you go back to 2022 and that World Cup with the second youngest team in that World Cup, you would think the priority was always to get that group primed for 2026, to have the majority of that team, because they're so young, be ready in their prime or close to it, but have the necessary experience of how to navigate a World Cup, how to get through World Cup qualifying to get to World Cup. All of that is almost positioned so that this team can run forward and move through the 2026 World Cup with all the hope and desire necessary to make a deep run. But I think along the way, with Berhalter and the way that ended, the way that it feels like some guys maybe took it for granted or thought it would kind of be a coasting type of scenario until the World Cup, and then all of a sudden you turn it on. Pochettino came in and said, guys, it's all wrong. We have to bring back the fight and the mentality, and nothing's given. We're seeing Thomas Tuchel do it right now with Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham clearly is one of the best English players, but he's been out for a while and he's not in a rhythm. And Thomas Tuchel said, hey, you're not coming into the camp. I know you're back, but you're not coming in until you're fit and you're playing well. So I think, there's something to that. And I think when you're looking at the group, Pochettino is finally got a good grasp of who's got the quality and who can, I think, take us to the next level versus, I'm going to start to push some buttons, and you guys got to be playing, and not only playing well to get back into the camp. So I'm good with where we are right now.
Okay, I'm feeling the same way. Now we're gonna get into this is what we usually do.
What about you, Jim? Before we go,
No. Whoa! I agreed with you, Tones.
I'm saying you didn't give your full opinion.
Normally you want to take some oxygen, so let's go.
Listen, Mr. Oxygen Taker over there, all of a sudden, always deflecting over to me like I'm the one.
You're thinking.
No, I feel the same way. I guess I'm trying to read between the lines in terms of the messaging that we're hearing from the players afterwards. I was really like Balogun's, what he's saying after the camp and what he's saying about Pochettino and his approach. Really positive. I know exactly what I need to do. He gives me freedom to play. It's really kind of hitting that sweet spot for Flo Balogun. That's what I'm reading between the lines, and I think that's being demonstrated on the field. Flo was excellent against Ecuador in particular, right?
What about the back line, Jim?
The back line, I think, has it's still a bit of a concern, and I know we're going to get into our tiers ranking here as part of our tradition post window. I don't know if anything's clear cut, set in stone outside of Chris Richards and Tim Ream. I think Mark McKenzie and Miles Robinson and others are still fighting to get in. And yeah, that's still a bit of an area of concern. And I think goalkeeper is too. I don't know, unless you think Matt Freese has just won this. I mean, he's got 10 straight games now with the U.S., so it feels like he's the number one.
I don't see him not starting at this stage. Given
I agree.
It feels like he's him and his staff feel that they're the most confident with Matt Freese. So Tony, have you? Not that you've come to grips with it, but do you see Matt Freese not being the starting goalie outside of an injury?
Well, let's use that as a segue into our tiers ranking. I think this is the best way. And we call it tiers because we wanted to catch all of Tony's tears because he doesn't like doing rankings on our show. But this is our sports talk radio version of our show. So let's get into the tiers. We're going to start with the goalkeepers. And we have this ticket booked is tier number 1. Certified call-up is tier number 2. Steady Eddie, I don't know how to categorize that, but it's just like kind of on the fence in the middle. Then in consideration is number 4, and then not World Cup material is the bottom. That's red. That's a red dot. Green dot is ticket booked. Red dot is not World Cup material. Big Tone, throwing it over to you. Where I guess where would you put Matt Freese? Let's go with him first.
Yeah, Matt Freese. I guess if you look at position on the team and all of that, it's either certified call up or steady Eddie, right? Because I don't know that his stock went up or down in this window as much as we saw by virtue of the fact that he played both games. Is that Pochettino says this is my guy right now, right? So yeah, you can put him in either one of those for me. I'm more interested at the moment with the other 3, and I put him in consideration, and I'm looking at this. Which one do you really put ahead of the other? Okay, I imagine.
I mean, Matt Turner's got to be the number 2.
I think
imagine Matt Turner.
I think he's steady Eddie for me.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Matt Turner is one of those players who, whether he's starting, he's the last guy on the roster, he's going to be happy. In terms of like what he brings to the group, he's not one of those guys who's going to suck the energy out.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that I want him to be happy being in that position. Yeah, but I understand.
Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I guess just as they sit here, I can move him to steady Eddie. And in consideration, I still think we're looking for the third goalkeeper. And is the only movement we're going to see is if a third goalkeeper somehow before the World Cup becomes the second goalkeeper.
Okay,
but that's where we are now, Jimmy. For me,
all right, I respect that. I'm going to do defenders. So for me, I'm going all the way green dot ticket book. Chris Richards, slam dunk, no problem. He's going to the World Cup next summer, barring injury, of course. This is everybody being healthy. Tim Ream, ticket booked, going green dot. Stamp his passport. No, we're not actually traveling anywhere. He can fly domestic. He's fine. He is playing in the World Cup next year. He's going to be. I assume he'll be starting in that opening game at SoFi Stadium. And then it gets a little trickier. I would say Miles Robinson is in consideration. I would say I might need some help from you two in particular and our community that's watching live.
I want to see where you go first. So
okay, yeah, I hear it. I'm going to say Miles Robinson. I'll put him at steady Eddie. I think he's just above in consideration. Got 2 starts in a row. I think he's really being looked at. Not a certified. I mean,
remember like Tristan Blackman got 2 starts in a row too.
He did.
Using that theory.
That's true. I will say Mark McKenzie also in the steady Eddie department. These are ones that I don't. You feel like they should be certified call-ups, but that's like getting closer to.
Well, who are you going to call up at some point?
No, at some point you have
got
to
call somebody, right?
I know.
Yeah.
So maybe I can move on that. CCV right. CCV in consideration.
You think in consideration? He got 0 minutes in 2 games.
Yeah, I still think he needs to be considered. We're thin, man. We're thin, and I feel like it could come down to injury for 1 or 2 of these guys to get in the team. I mean, he got called into this camp. I think that's a positive for him. So he clearly is in consideration if he got called into the camp. That's all. That's how I'm rationalizing it. Who else do we have back there? That's how thin we are.
Max Sarson.
Well, so if I get wingbacks, then Jedi Robinson, automatic lock, ticket booked. Serginho Dest, if he's healthy, he's ticket booked. Arvston, I think certified call up, and Freeman certified call-up. Am I missing anybody? Joe Scally, not World Cup material, according to Mauricio Pochettino. He's in the red.
I mean, if we're doing that like Dest, if we're doing, someone not here, Dest would be a guy, but we're, you know.
But we got to do what's in front of us right here, Jim.
Yeah. Sorry. We could talk about that later. Dest was.
I think you got all the defenders in camp.
Okay, cool.
Good.
All right. Go to strikers now. Go to strikers.
No. Go to mid. No.
We the way we want to do it, we're going to work on midfielders together. We want to go to strikers, and that's you, Charles.
Okay. All right. Ticket booked. Balogun.
Yeah.
Not. He's the starting striker for the USMNT national team. As long as he's healthy for me, and he's playing.
Okay. I want to know where you go with. I want to hear.
Haji Wright, certified call up.
Certified call up. Okay.
2 goals. He's banging on the door to book his ticket. Remember, there's only 2 more windows. That's it. 2 more windows for the guys who are playing in European. For the guys who are playing in Europe. That's it.
Yeah.
This last window was massive for Haji Wright, and he grabbed it with both hands and said, "I'm going." So his ticket isn't booked yet because you're talking about the championship. We know what a slog it is. Ajiman had been one of those guys who performed for Pochettino. I think he's got a good fit at Derby. He's scoring. He's playing.
But
he's right now in consideration.
Wow, not a steady Eddie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Close to the red.
And then where are we going?
Who else do you have?
I mean that's it for strikers in the moment at this camp.
Okay, so everybody else would be midfielders.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into James Sands. What are we saying? Not World Cup material in consideration. He's got to be in those areas.
In one of those 2 areas right there. I don't think he was good in this match. I think he struggled a little bit with the pace. He gave too many balls away for me for a central midfielder. I'll lean on you guys, but if you want to go not World Cup material right now, because I don't know that he gets called in next camp.
Yeah, I'm gonna go not World Cup material, and it's tough to put somebody in that category, but we're talking about the deepest position the U.S. men's national team has, and you got your one opportunity, and you didn't show well, and not only that, there's only 2 more windows, so you got to imagine that Cardoso will get fit at some point, and he's playing at Atletico Madrid. He's going to get a call in. Tessman, he performed, and he's performed in the past. He's playing at Lyon. My man, for me, is we'll get to him. So, and then Aiden Morris, he didn't really show well, but I think he showed more than James Sands. So that's showing where he is on the totem
All right, so let's just put Aiden Morris right into in consideration. I'm just going to jump on that one. Tim Weah, ticket booked. For sure.
Yep.
Where are you using him as what? A midfielder, as a defender, as a what are you categorizing?
That's why he's booked, because he can do multiple things. Big time.
Well, this is the thing for me with this back 3, Tony. He's one of the wide players in that midfield. So it's either the right side or the left side. Now, if you're talking about the right side, it's him or Dest. And if they're both playing and they're both playing well, that's a tough decision for Mauricio Pochettino. And that's the one that you got to get right? So are you playing a team that's maybe sitting back? Then you say, okay, we need somebody who can break down teams. Dest might be your guy. If you're playing against a team that is going to have more of the ball and pin you back in your own half, and you're looking to counter, then Timothy Weah, probably our best counterattacking player from a deep point of view. I think that's who you probably go with. I love the fact that you're talking about 2 players who are quality that have to compete against each other for this spot.
And I also think just in general, like the guy who's been around the manager the most, like if you're leaning, you're kind of always leaning to the guy that you've been able to have the little conversations on the sideline with, meet in the hotel with, talk about the position. Even if so what I'm saying is Destin and Weah are here. Like Weah, for me, gets a little bit more of a chance because he's been around Pochettino a little bit more, right? And he understands. So I just think inherently you feel that way, but he's going to the World Cup.
He's the lock.
Whatever position you want to put him in.
All right, Malik Tillman.
Book his ticket
to
for
me, it's ticket booked. Yep.
Ticket book,
Ticket
green
book.
dot. Okay, just want to make sure. I was left the pause there to see somebody jump in. Brendan Aronson. I say steady Eddie in consideration space. Super sub.
I'm in
Where's the super
consideration.
sub tier? In consideration. All right, we'll roll with that. Tanner Tessman for me, certified call up. He's
Yes.
very close. Very close.
He's teetering on ticket booked. He's
Man,
for me.
I'll tell you what. He was
What are you gonna
good.
say,
I
Tom?
went back and watched that. I went back and watched Ecuador. He was really good. I feel like when I was watching the game, I didn't give him enough credit until I watched it the second time.
Love that you watched it a second time. What a super fan.
I'm willing to go.
I was so
ticket
tired
booked.
the first time.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, I'm willing to go ticket booked. But if you want to just keep him in the certified call up,
Yeah, keep him there.
range
Almost green dot. We got to have something.
Yeah.
Got to dangle the carrot a little bit, right? He's got to
all
dangle
right,
the carrot.
dangle that thing.
Okay. Zendejas.
I think at this stage, certified call up.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Christian Roldan.
Certified call up.
Certified call up for sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
amazing
I-
how 1 month changes
Hey,
everything, right?
But 2 windows. Or
Yeah.
two. Yeah. So for me, 2 windows.
Certified
This
call up.
guy he's got all the intangibles. And you're
Oh,
talking
we're
about
gonna
a
get into
national
him
team?
some more. We're gonna get into him
Yeah.
some more. Don't worry. Okay,
All right.
and then Diego Luna, I'd say certified call up.
Certified call up.
Christian Pulisic, ticket booked. Mauricio
Ticket booked.
Pochettino, ticket booked.
Ticket booked.
Weston McKinney. Weston McKinney. What are we saying?
I mean,
I
although I
think-
don't think he was great. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. For me, ticket booked, but he's not a certified starter.
Yeah, right. That's where
So
the
that's
distinction
the
is, right?
difference. So Chris Richards, ticket booked, certified starter. Tim Ream, ticket booked. He's teetering on certified starter, but a lot can change from now until June. So you're not saying, hey, 100% certified starter. Anthony Robinson, ticket booked, certified starter if healthy. His knee, from what I've heard, is not 100%. There are some questions about it. So if he's in pain and he's got a knee issue, which is, knees are really sensitive. And so the thing with Timothy Weah and Dest is they both can play right back, right wing back, left wing back. Both are interchangeable. They can swap sides. I'd probably lean on Dest playing on the right and Timothy Weah playing on the left if you had to, if it came down to those 2 players. But the fact is, Pochettino has a little bit of a safety net if Anthony Robinson isn't a go. And he's developed Max Arfson over the past 6 months or so, which also gives him some credit of why he kept playing him, because now you have some backup there. So certified starter for Balogun for me, certified Timothy Weah, certified starter. Tillman, in that conversation, and Christian Pulisic, certified starter.
For sure. Okay. So that was players that were in the October camp. I kind of want to play this in and out game, just in or outs from you two in particular, and everybody watching or listening at home, from players that were absent from the October camp. So,
ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So I don't know who we had first, Des, but just throw up the photo, and then we'll just roll from there.
In and out. In what sense?
Okay.
Ticket booked.
I don't know what
Tyler Adams.
I don't even have to say ticket booked.
Ticket booked. Okay.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. So there's the yes there. Is he automatic lock starter for you?
Yes.
Okay. There was a hesitation there.
No,
Okay,
there's no hesitation.
Johnny. No. Sorry. Serginho Dest.
Ticket booked.
I mentioned that earlier. But lock starter. So it's kind of like one of those yes/no charts. Like if you say yes, he's automatic. Then what? Is he an automatic starter for you? That would be the next question.
Not for me. He's not an automatic starter. Now from what I'm seeing.
Not an automatic starter, given it's going to be between him and Weah if Anthony Robinson's healthy.
Okay. All right. Let's next photo. Johnny Cardoso.
This one is the tough one.
It's a tricky one. It's tricky
because he's been.
In consideration.
And you could look at he could look at himself in the mirror and say he's been rubbish for the U.S. men's national team.
Imagine if he did.
He's been rubbish. But for club, Real Betis, even Atletico Madrid, he's been class. Now, can you figure out a way to get that form and bring it into the U.S. men's national team? And we're also trying to figure out what why is it not translating well?
Maybe he needs a Gold Cup like Tillman. We weren't really that high on Tillman until he actually had a run of games and was trusted in that spot, and was the guy.
Well, we were
Cardoso
high on him, but
he's
we
talented,
needed
of course.
we needed to see him in a U.S. jersey do the same, right,
Right,
Jim?
right.
That was
That's
kind
fair.
of the discussion,
Yeah.
and that's Pochettino's. This might be Pochettino's next mission. Is how do we get Johnny Cardoso to look the same when he puts this jersey on, right? And that's kind of. Yeah, this is a tough one, man.
So where would he be in the tiers? Like Steady Eddie in consideration?
In consideration.
It's crazy that we have a player at Atletico Madrid and he's like that. But these are good problems to have. That's the evolution of the player.
He hasn't done it in the red, white, and blue. And that's a fact.
You're right. He hasn't. All right. Do we have any more, Des? Or is that it? Oh, Yunus Musa.
This is a big one.
What are we saying? In or out?
Jimmy, I'm saying
tricky one.
In, because Ivan's getting mad. We're not playing the right game. And go in consideration for this one. That's where I'm going.
He's in consideration.
In consideration.
Wow, man.
This is the thing
with
Yunus,
the game, right?
Hey, this is Yunus Musa. Yunus Musa went to a club that has an identity and has players that they would consider first choice in front of him. He wasn't brought into a club that needed him as a starter and looked at him as a starter when you have Ederson and Darun and Pulisic. So that's the issue.
Not a good move.
He's not in a place where he's playing every week or he's guaranteed to be playing every week. Now, with that being said, if he breaks in and he's playing at Atalanta every week, he's in. But that's a big if. It's the same thing. I mean, if he stayed at Milan, if he's in consideration, he's in. But he's in consideration.
In consideration. Wow, who would have thought? You would have asked us that in 2022. All right, Ricardo Pepi. Healthy,
certified caller. He's a certified caller.
Yeah.
I think a healthy ticket booked, but starting. Not starting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Next one. One.
Oh,
Gio Reyna time for people that aren't watching live. Excuse me.
Everyone knows the idea of Gio Reyna at his best and performing. Yeah, but we haven't seen that since the Nations League when he assisted Balogun and they beat Canada in the final.
That was like 2 years ago. That was 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. So he's obviously World Cup material. We know he's got that type of talent. But I don't even know if he's in consider. There might be a tier between in consideration and not World Cup material.
So is he in or out, Jim? Is he in or out?
I think he's out. I put my flag in the ground a long time ago saying he wouldn't make the team. I said that over a year ago that Gio Reyna wouldn't make the team. And I hope that he proved me wrong. But this moment he hasn't. He has not. All right, next one. Josh Sargent.
He's
out.
Out.
That was quick. Next one. Joe Scally.
I'm gonna say at this stage out.
Yeah. If he doesn't get
for
called,
whatever reason,
about Joe Scally. If he does not get called into the November camp, I think he's out.
Yeah.
Now there is a big gap between November and March, and if he blows up and Mönchengladbach starts to play really well, and he's a key reason why, then maybe you could see there's a big 4 months there for the European-based guys in particular.
But hold on, really. What else does he have to do at his club to get called in? Like, I feel like the guy's been playing forever. Like, he never misses a game. He's been a starter now, for a long time. Yeah, that's my point. So when you say like he's got to blow up at his team, like I think whatever he does,
he's the new John Brooks, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Sounds.
Unless there's like significant injuries, that would be probably the only point.
I just don't know what else you can ask a guy like him to do at his club team that he hasn't done already. I mean, I suppose if you start, you get an assist every other game, like you could add numbers, I guess. But as far as playing, what else do we want from him?
But Tones, also think if he's playing right wing back.
Yeah, it's not a position here for him.
I don't think he's right center back. I know that's the only position he could play with this team, but I don't think he's a right center back.
But that's where he played, though. Remember, that's where he played.
International football, I don't think he's that.
Right.
He's that. Yeah. And so if you're talking about right wing back, behind Weah, behind Des, behind McKinney, like you can name, I would even put Yunus Musa ahead of him at right wing back than Joe Scally. So I think he's out. when you're thinking about when you look at it from that perspective.
All right. And now we're out of this first segment. We're taking our first break of the show. When we come back, we're going to hear from Mauricio Pochettino, a couple of his quotes from his press conference. Keep it right here.
That is a massive risk. I don't want to say that Christian or Malik they feel something but I think was really tough for the player. We know to prepare the game and need to play. We are really sad about this situation because I think it's difficult not to change. Because I think we're 20 degree the difference and the gap. And that how can affect your body and everything, and that is difficult. But yes, that is a thing that we need to fix for the future.
All right, welcome back into Call It What You Want. We're hearing there from Mauricio Pochettino after the second game of the window against Australia, 2-1 win, and he's talking about playing in Denver or playing in Austin first, where it was super hot, and then flying up to Denver, where not only was it cold, but it was in altitude and. He doesn't want to. I love that he had this. I mean, everybody does it when they speak, but he goes, "It's not a criticism, but," and then here comes the criticism. Are his concerns fair? Big Tones, you've been around longer than me and you have more caps than me and Chuck combined. You've been and seen the play.
You've been around since George Washington. He's basically saying so.
It was Abe Lincoln. I was around
Lincoln,
Lincoln,
baby. Abe Lincoln.
George
So, do these concerns hold up for?
Yeah, it's like. It's like when you start this thing. So I don't want to be rude, but here we go. This is what players go through every week in MLS. Like you go through it. I know. Is it a concern? I suppose, right? But you gotta adjust to it. You gotta take care of yourself and prepare for it. But I don't see it as a massive issue. And quite honestly, he didn't seem to make it a massive issue. He was just kind of trying to express a point, right? But I don't think you can. Where was Australia? Were they in Canada? They played in Canada right before, so they wouldn't have. I'm trying to think if they dealt with it as well. I don't know. I'm not really buying it. If you're asking me, like as an excuse, could it be a reason for one person maybe that their body didn't adjust to it? Maybe like Christian, it could be. But as far as a big like overriding theme, I don't know if I'm buying it.
Okay, Chuck.
I want to hear from you first. Do you buy it?
No, I do think that there's some legitimacy to, you're changing environments. It's not easy to play at altitude. I don't know how long they were there. There's a lot of science behind just showing up like the day before. And so your body doesn't have time to adjust. You just kind of push through whatever you're feeling as opposed to having those couple days to settle in. Again, these guys are all finely tuned professional athletes, so it shouldn't make that much of a difference. Your opponent is also playing into the same. It's not like you're the only one that's suffering, quote unquote, from the altitude. Everybody has to suffer through it together. So I just think on the heels of Malik Tillman not dressing and Christian Pulisic having to come out after 25 to 30 minutes is just going to put a little bit more of a spotlight on just the preparation leading into the game, the decisions to even play Christian, and then okay, yeah, Did the going from hot to cold make a big difference? That probably has bigger difference, probably, I don't know, physiologically than the altitude, but that's kind of where I am. Yeah, I can see where it could come from. You could have a narrative around it. I just don't know if it made that big of a difference overall.
Yeah, for me is you always knew this was the case. It wasn't like sprung on them that, hey, you're traveling to Colorado to play the game. Like U.S. Soccer scheduled these matches. You've always known the kind of the landscape and the temperature checks and the altitude and all of this going into it. So whether they planned accordingly to that or not, you also know the geography of this country. We're trying to continue to grow the game and playing in front of different crowds so that everyone gets the opportunity to watch the national team live.
Hey,
that's part of it.
Can I say really quick? I thought that the crowd showed out in Commerce City. I thought they did a nice job.
I do too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
shout out to
great.
Commerce City.
Nice coming out. Yeah,
unreal.
So
Austin did too. So for me, it's like, okay, now people start getting into this, getting into this mode of support the effort of the sport and this team. And if we want to continue to move forward and make some waves, this home field advantage as a home World Cup, we have to play all the way into it if we really want to be the 12th man, because it will make a difference. We saw it make a difference in South Korea. We've seen it in France in '98. That there is a noticeable difference when the majority of the home supporters are there, making it wild, making the noise to kind of provide that energy boost for the home side. So I think we're starting to see it to click.
Okay.
If the last two games are any the
momentum.
Any indication? Yeah.
Buzz. There's some buzz now around the team, and obviously having some good performances and getting some positivity out of these games is only gonna be a good thing in terms of creating momentum. Okay, so now before we started the show, they're starting to get some smoke, some reports, Big Tones, that Milan is not happy that Christian Pulisic was risked in this game, and obviously a friendly of all things, not even a qualifier or a Nations League game or whatever it is. And we saw this recently with some other big nations. Lamine Yamal with Spain and Barcelona, Didier Deschamps, who manages France, and PSG getting pissed that Doué and Dembele ended up getting out, for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And now we might have something similar here based on the reports that we're hearing that Milan, and why wouldn't they be pissed, right? Anytime you go to your national team and you come back and you've got an injured player, you're going to be upset. But you had we were having a good conversation about it, and I really liked your take on what our national team manager is supposed to do. So yeah, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, well, a couple things, right? We're not surprised by the club managers getting mad. When someone gets hurt on international duty is one thing for me. If there's an accusation of risk, go back to Nations League with Alphonso Davies in Canada, right?
Oof,
and how that all went down. Yeah. And if the club thinks that you put the player at risk, that's a different story. So we have to kind of figure out where Milan sits with this whole thing. So yeah, would you be mad in general? Yeah, of course you would. Your player got hurt. Like you're mad. You're paying his fees. But I also and that's always the argument, right? Where does the blame lie? Well, the club is paying their fees, so the national team manager is responsible. But I always think like, well, the club manager has the player for 95% of the year, right? Like who needs to manage this thing better? Well, you mentioned Yamal, right? How many games have we watched Barcelona up by 3 goals and Yamal's in the 95th minute of the game? Right, we see this all the time. Like I'm a big believer, and you guys know my sister-in-law, one of the best PTs in the world. Right, works with all the works at US Soccer, travels around the world for FIFA, giving speeches, and she's been telling me for 20 years the biggest strain comes in the last 20% of games. Right, when your body is fatigued, when you're stretching a little bit. I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, if that's the case, then let's save these guys at the end of the game when you have a chance, not at risking your game to lose. But I mean, there's games again. I'm going to use Yamal because it's like for me the most extreme Pep Guardiola is another one. Has complained for years about travel, about games, about the number of substitutions, the number of players on the roster. And then he'll go games where he makes 2 substitutions in a game. And I'm like, well, you had 5 subs. So we've been talking about this for years on the radio, almost weekly. And so who does the blame lie on? No, let me take that back. Not the blame. Who does the responsibility lie on to manage the players the most? I think that's what we got to ask. Take the money part of it out because international football is here. International managers have jobs to do. They got to win games for whatever country you're coaching. They're trying to get to a World Cup. Like they have a mission, right? So they have to play games too, and they got to put their best players out there, or we just scrap international football and get rid of it, right, in the end, which I'm sure some people wouldn't mind, me not included. So those are kind of the arguments for me, Jimmy, on both sides.
Yeah.
I still think we just have to, and everyone's going to have, like, Chuck, I don't know where you sit on the level of responsibility, but everyone will be a little bit different. That's just how I feel.
Well, I'll also throw into the equation, there's a difference for players who are coming from Europe versus players who are playing in MLS. I think when you're getting on a plane to fly 10 hours to 12 hours, in some cases 14 hours to play in these international friendlies, now it's a lose-lose, because for Christian, he was coming in already with a knock. He already took a break from the national team where people absolutely went bananas and said he's given up. He thinks he's too big. You know, he doesn't prioritize the national team. Blah blah blah. And so he's motivated because he's like, I need a break, and I'm not taking off any games. If I can go out there, I'm gonna play, even if I'm at 80%, if you will, right? And Tony, how many times have we said, how often are you 100% when you play, anyways? So you're already coming in with a quote unquote knock, and on top of that, you're probably at 75% of what your capacity is. And so he goes and he takes the first game off, comes in and plays the second. There's not a single player that goes to international break and says, I don't want to play at all, even if I'm not 100%. You want to play. You want to probably play the first game. Hey, let me play 45 minutes and then you can take me off. Or let me play 60. And the coach said, all right, no, you're going to wait. So for me, I think there's a balance of responsibility on the player, responsibility from the coach, and not the national team or the national team coach, not the club coach. Take the club coach out of this equation, because they're selfish. They're, for Milan, Christian Pulisic is their best player. He's a Serie A player of the year season or the month. Sorry. And now all of a sudden you're coming back, you're giving our player back, and he's injured and he can't play. We need him to continue to challenge at the top of Serie A. So they're going to be not happy no matter what the situation is, because they want him fresh, and he's never going to be fresh, having been in Texas, in Colorado, and flying all the way back to Milan for their important game on the weekend. You're never going to be 100% fresh after international break, and you got to go travel to Europe.
No,
now you're throwing an injury. I think that's always what it's going to be. Typically, when I was making that trek from France to LA, or Stockholm to LA or Miami, and you fly back, I remember my French coach would say, we're not starting you on the weekend no matter what. And I'm like, hey, I want to play. This is a big game. And he'd always say, your body needs time to recover, and you're going to be at a really high risk to strain your hamstring or strain your groin, and we'd rather have you come off the bench, because it's just putting a lot on your body, and that's just the reality of the situation.
All right,
That's
so
good points.
No, great points, and lots to take into consideration, and a delicate topic, because you can make a really strong narrative, I think, for both sides.
It's almost a lose-lose for
You're
for
right.
the player.
It is.
Yeah,
because
no
you're
one wins.
forced with choosing club versus country. Sure, your club pays you all your salary. You make millions of dollars, but at the same time, we've been just preaching, the national team is a privilege. You want to represent your country. That's the ultimate dream, the ultimate gift when you're playing the sport, to inspire your whole country. And you have a World Cup on home soil. So you're going to almost jeopardize the potential of being healthy on the weekend, because you got to suit up. If you have the chance, you're going to go on the field and play, and you're not going to go in half-assed.
Right.
That's another part of it.
No, nor should you, right?
Right. So it is a little bit of a lose-lose in that scenario.
Well, someone who's been on the opposite of the lose-lose is the win-win. It's Christian Roldan, and here is what Mauricio Pochettino had to say about him and his performance. Take a listen.
Is what we need, and then we need player with confidence, with self-belief, with a little bit arrogance, with a little bit, being naughty, being competitive. And maybe Christian Roldan is the example of, how if you want to build your perfect player, he has a little bit of everything. It's true that playing in a position that maybe is not a striker that should score goals or is not a central back, but is a midfielder. That balance on and off the field is what we find. I don't say that it's going to be in the next roster or it's going to be in the World Cup, but I think at the moment or so far after last camp and now, it's a player that we wanted to give the opportunity. We gave the opportunity, and look what is going on.
Strong
Nailed it.
words there. Nailed it. Christian
Yeah.
Roldan came in and ticked every box, at least for this coaching staff. And not a big surprise. He's been a top professional for a long time. And we look at his Seattle Sounders career. He's got 11 seasons with them, 2 goals and 9 assists in all comps this season. He's a 2-time MLS Cup champion. He won the CONCACAF Champions League in 2022, won the Leagues Cup in 2025, got a couple Gold Cup titles in there as well in 2017 and 2021. I mean, when we start to look at his track record, the guy wins wherever he goes and is clearly a valuable piece to any team that he's a part of. And I think because of the 2022 World Cup experience where he was considered the glue guy, now he's going to be considered something similar. And now he's proving himself on the field as well, Tones. It's hard not to like what Christian Roldan has done with his opportunity with the U.S., and I'm excited for him.
Yeah, Pochettino trying to blow up social media, huh? With Christian Roldan plaudits, but I'm happy for him. Keep in mind, he's doing it in a different position than he did it a couple years ago, right? He was forced into playing in the center of the midfield this year for the Seattle Sounders with a bunch of injuries that they had, and now he's captaining that side and he's leading that team. He was really good at the Club World Cup. I think that's where he probably started to really open up eyes. I believe it was, but I don't know if it was before last camp or after last camp when Pochettino was asked about Roldan. And he said, we've had an eye on him for a while, and he fits into this camp. So he got a chance. I have no problem giving props to guys who get a chance, especially late, but they jump on it, right? Some guys get a chance and they don't take advantage of it, and that's the last time we see him for a little while. Christian Roldan has sort of reinvented himself in a new position, and it seems like Mauricio Pochettino likes him, and he's probably here to stay.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
yeah,
I'm going to go out on a limb here, not so much a limb, but when I'm making comparisons of where Christian Roldan is, I see a lot of where Kyle Beckerman was within the MLS setup, always behind Ricardo Clark, Michael Bradley, Benny Philhaber. You can go down the list. Sasha Kleshin, Stu Holden was always seen as a great professional, an MLS, veteran, but never international quality. And then all of a sudden, Jurgen Klinsmann said, I'm going to give him a chance. I like the way he plays. And he was exceptional. He fit in. He's always had the right mentality on and off the pitch. A cool guy, but tough as nails. And I look at Roldan, and he's kind of hit this little renaissance because he's making the right decisions along with the intangibles that he brings. And I think it's the decision-making that has allowed him to excel in these last 2 camps. And that comes with experience. Being a part of a World Cup roster where he didn't play, he wasn't really relied on, but he took it all in. Being central to Seattle Sounders and the leader in that locker room. And Tony, you touched on it perfectly. It's the Club World Cup appearances, the performances against Inter Miami when people are watching, and he stands out. He's one of the players that stands out. And in this camp, we're talking about international quality. He stood out. He made a difference. And I don't care about some of the performances he's had in the past. And we're talking about, he only plays against MLS teams, or we've seen him with Greg Berhalter's side. There's always times in a player's career where tactics, the manager, it allows you to click. And right now, he's playing the best football of his career at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's taking advantage
Don't forget Leagues Cup against Messi. I mean, that opened everybody's eyes too. What was the quote you were talking about? He only plays MLS? Because the narrative is so old, man.
Yeah, there's a comment here from Jeremy that says Roldan is good against other MLS level competition. Let's relax. We've seen him all over Greg's teams. Hey, man,
Okay,
if you can play, if you can play. That's first and
something.
foremost.
But just that alone. Look, I know that's a slight on MLS. Okay, Jeremy clearly doesn't rate MLS. Unfortunately, other managers that making the decisions do, including Mauricio Pochettino. But the fact that did he fool Greg for how many years? Is he now fooling Mauricio Pochettino, or is Jeremy getting fooled? Which one? If I have to lay my money down on somebody, I'm going with Greg and Pochettino. They know what they want. They know what they're looking for. Like the whole MLS thing is such. I'm not an MLS apologist. I've never had a job in MLS. Never been. Well, was considered for a couple jobs. So I don't apologize for MLS. But this whole thing about like you can't make a national team because you're playing in MLS is like the dumbest thing you could say. Because people that are involved in the game,
we got him.
Actually,
yep.
No, but we got him, Jeremy.
Well, no, I'm not triggered yet. You'll know when I'm triggered. I'm making a point. They actually respect the league. I tell you this all the time, so you know how I feel about it. I've said it on air multiple times for years. The people who disrespect MLS the most live right here in America. They live here in America. Mm-hmm. European scouts don't disrespect it. South American scouts don't disrespect it. Managers clearly that want to come here don't disrespect it. So maybe they got to adjust their thinking, and not the national team managers.
Bayern Munich surely didn't disrespect it when they went and got Alphonso Davies, and they paid that type of money for him, and he became a world-class left back. Thiago Almada made the World Cup for that Argentina side, the first Major League Soccer player to be actively playing in MLS and win a World Cup, goes to Europe and excels. So for me, it's not so much, okay, you're looking at MLS versus La Liga, Premier League, Champions League. You're looking at a player in their situation and how they fit in with the national team, and what are the tactics that maybe, or what are the intangibles that player brings? Because Rodrigo de Paul is playing in MLS. You think he's not going to be playing with Argentina? The guy is class, you know. And I just look at certain players, and it's all about what do they add, what value do they bring, and how do they fit in. And again, it's about timing. Christian Roldan is playing the best of his career right now. He's in the best form of his life, and I think a lot of that comes with experience. A lot of that comes in with being given the opportunity and settling in and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of yourself and your teammates. And so you can't take it away. The guy has earned his playing time. He's earned his call-ups, and he's made the most of it. And I love how Pochettino said, I'm not saying he's going to be in the next World Cup.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's going to be called in 100% to the next camp. But what I am telling you is, look, the guy is excelling.
Yeah, and so this always gets me into my own World Cup experience. Heading into 2006, I had only played in MLS. Clint Dempsey at that point had only played in MLS, and we came home from that tournament. I know we got knocked out in the groups, but we came home as the two of the highest-rated players for our team throughout that. And this was the tournament where we had more guys playing in Europe than ever before. They were going to lead us. I mean, it's for what I realized. This is really important, but what I realized is it doesn't matter where you play before the whistle blows, and it doesn't matter where you play afterwards. Are you ready when the whistle blows? Are you ready when the whistle blows? And that's what mattered the most, and that's what I learned. Okay, and then I'll stop with my narrative. Let's bring up Kyle Beckerman. I'm glad you did. He only played in MLS as well for the 2014 World Cup. And when we took him out of the lineup against Belgium in the round of 16, which I still think was a mistake, he didn't start that game. We gave up more shots in a World Cup game in history, more than anybody else. Now, that's when Tim Howard had to stand on his head and make more saves than ever. But when you take out somebody that was that vital to how the defense moved and the passing lanes that he was blocking, all the little details, and it's because we took out an MLS player and we got worse, right? I mean, we could just build all these types of different narratives, and I get triggered as well. Anyway.
Oh, Jimmy, Jeremy's coming at you. He said, you're right. Pulisic should come to MLS. Clearly, I'm missing something.
I mean, that's a pretty childish response, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, getting defensive here, and you're trying to divert the conversation.
Someone doesn't want to see the other side of the argument.
Yeah.
So you're never going to change those guys.
That's
period.
Exactly right. You're not coming into the conversation in a respectful place. Yeah. Right. It's just my way's the right answer and yours isn't, and that's kind of where we are in general. but that's a bigger conversation. All right, we're taking a last break and call it what you want. When we come back, we're going to get into some more quotes from Mauricio Pochettino and talk a little bit about Chris Richards. Should he be the captain moving forward? Don't go anywhere.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
All right, welcome back into your favorite Average to Good show. I'm Conrad Dino alongside Chuck Chasing Chuck and Big Tones. Listen, I don't know what the chat's talking about with regard to Charlie's jacket. It's got a little bit of an Indiana Jones vibe for me, but we cooked up some photos here. Ivan went out of his way in Photoshop. There he is. Indiana Chuck.
That's
good.
me. In Europe, then I went to a couple of bazaars. I'm looking for kit. In this picture, I'm looking for kits. I'm on the lookout for any limited edition kits in the bazaars. You know, bring it back to the kids in the country. You know, hook them up.
He's on his last crusade. There he is.
Yeah,
hey.
That's me out in Seattle. I'm out there in Seattle.
Yeah.
I was scouting Roldan for Pochettino, so that was me out in the woods.
Look at that, looking good in that jacket.
It's your fault then.
Yeah.
That's what
I
it is.
love that. I don't have. Okay, so I apologize. I thought we had one more a quote from Mauricio Pochettino. It was a big tease, but we do have this quote from Chris Richards, and he said with regard to Australia, they're lucky it was a friendly. I was ready to go, and if the ref didn't give me a shitty yellow card in the corner, I probably would have killed somebody. I mean. We did talk about while we're in our watch along. Chuck, I'll come up to you first on this. That we really love that he was coming to the defense of his team. That if something happens, he was up in somebody's face. He was talking to the ref, trying to get something done. That's what we're all kind of clamoring for with regard to okay, yes, we know you have the talent. Can you have the grit to match that talent? And now it seems like we're starting to see that emerge a little bit more.
I'm so proud of this kid. Talk about the maturation process that Chris Richards has had over the past year, let's say 18 months. Just becoming a stable part of that Crystal Palace back line, indispensable in a way. And then taking that, parlaying that form into a U.S. men's national team that was redefining who they were in this back line, looking for the necessary characters to anchor a national team. And he's one of the most well-liked kids, most well-respected kids. He just has it on and off the pitch. He gets it. Plus, he's got a little edge to him. He's got the fashion side. He's always got a big smile. I absolutely love everything about what he brings to the table and how he's grown as a player and a person. So enough said. This guy's legit. He's the number one center back when you're looking at anyone across the back line. You're penciling him in.
So he wasn't actually the captain against Australia. That was Christian. Christian went out, and then the armband went to him. I really liked seeing him in that role. I felt like it gave. Sometimes we've been around enough. Sometimes when you have a piece of cloth around your arm that designates that you're the leader of the team, it just gives you boosted confidence. Doesn't do it for everybody. Some people don't actually need a piece of cloth around their arm to be a leader. And I still think he demonstrates that, but it felt like he got elevated wearing that thing. Like, I'm going to, you know what? I am in charge, and I am going to do something about it, and I am going to stick up for my players, and I am going to make plays. And so it makes me think now, Tones, maybe Chris Richards should be our captain.
And keep in mind, you had McKennie on the field at the time, right? Who's got World Cup experience. Who else did you have? You had Weah on the field. I'm trying.
He's more of a quiet leader.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just thinking about guys that have been around longer. My point is, it's pretty interesting. They gave it to Chris Richards, right? Pretty interesting. Right away, it went to Richards. And keep in mind, Mauricio Pochettino was a center back. I love guys in deeper positions, but of course, I was a captain on most of my teams, and some people feel like, goalkeeper shouldn't be a captain. I disagree with any of that.
You were rooted, with those heavy legs. It makes sense to give you the armband. Who's going to
Charlie.
move you? You know.
That's such a Tuesday joke. That's what it is. But yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I love Chris Richards. I always have. Remember, I told you the story. He helped me get my A license one night down in Bradenton. You know, he was a trade that I made in the team that I was coaching. And he's the kid has grown into such a good player. And broke in, if we remember, Crystal Palace as a 6, right? He was playing as a 6 for a little while, and he said, well, I kind of just interpreted it as a center back. I don't really play as a true 6, and now he's the man now in the middle, and I think we all agree, right? He's booked his ticket. He stays healthy, continues on this path, and I love the attitude that he's bringing, because one of the faults we always said of that younger group, and it's hard when you're all young, is to find guys that are leaders, find guys that want to step up, and they're okay getting in somebody's face every now and then. You see it in every game. We didn't have a lot of that. Now we're starting to see some guys develop into that. And he's at the front.
Richards, Tyler Adams, they have that in them, right? And then, have you seen it yet from a keeper? Do you think that's important for Matt Freese to develop that?
Chuck, it's hard. I don't think, as much as we say that Matt Freese is the starting goalkeeper, I don't think, man, that he knows he's the starting goalkeeper at the World Cup. It's hard, right? Because you're just fighting to solidify your position, right? I think Matt Freese is going to the World Cup, as we talked about, but is he thinking right now I'm the starter? Like, it's hard. Like, you gotta, as much as you gotta help the team, you gotta worry about how do I keep myself in this position right now? And then sometimes you don't say something that you might have said maybe at your club team, right? Because you don't feel nearly as comfortable. What did you say, Jim? 10 games he's played now in a row, Matt Freese?
Yeah, Matt Freese.
I think he said it was 10, right? Yeah.
10 in a row.
He's got 10 games under his belt. Like, did you establish yourself as a leader in that group yet? We're not at the dinner table. We're not in the elevators. Like, that's all this stuff really adds up when you're in camp. But I think it's hard, to your point, to really, I hope we get that. I hope we get there. I felt like Matt Turner was getting there, 2 years ago in his career, because I don't know that he was there in the beginning, but then like I said, you feel more comfortable. But now we made a switch. So this is good that Richards is in the position he's in right now.
Yeah, I'm excited about his evolution, and I think it's nowhere else to go but up for him. And at Crystal Palace, right, winning an FA Cup and they're punching above their weight, and they're competing against the biggest clubs, they're getting results against the biggest clubs, is only going to continue to boost his confidence.
Also playing alongside one of the hottest center backs in world football, and Mark Gahey. I think there's a lot when you're playing for Crystal Palace. You're not playing for, Manchester City or Liverpool or Arsenal. You're under pressure, and a lot of it is reactions. And the only way you're getting any opportunities through the run of play is in quick transition. So winning the ball and playing forward quickly. How impressed have you been with Chris Richards' ball playing skills as a center back?
Yeah.
Looking forward, because let's be honest, a lot of our center backs throughout the past, 5-6 years, we're so used to playing that safe ball. They didn't want to lose it. They wanted to play sideways. They wanted to play backwards, or they just hoofed it long. He's playing to feet, in pockets, between the lines. He's looking to find ways to get people, and that comes from finding Eze, finding Olise, like playing forward, finding Wharton in the pocket. This is, I think, playing with Crystal Palace has really helped him continue to develop in a way that the U.S. men's national team needs him.
Yeah, we need as many leaders on the field as possible. Those are the ones that tend to solve the problems the quickest and do it in a way that's respectful of everybody on the field as they're trying to do it. All right, so this is the moment where I want Jeremy to jump off of our stream, because we're going to talk about MLS Decision Day, and clearly he doesn't like MLS.
Ooh.
So Jeremy, if you can get off the stream, that would be great. So on the East,
this is where we can help, Jeremy. What are you talking about?
No. He's already made his decision. So if he wants to bounce, this is the time to make it happen. All right, so Decision Day, MLS this weekend. It's all kicking off. Saturday is the Eastern Conference. It's already been set. Philadelphia Union won the Supporters Shield. You have your 9 teams. Nobody can really jump in there. Now it's just about seeding. You have Charlotte on 56 points in 4th, New York, NYCFC on 56, Nashville 54, Orlando 53, Chicago Fire 52, Columbus Crew 51. So there's a lot of room there as in terms of who's going to play in the play-in game, who's going to be hosting. So I'm excited about that. However, it's the Western Conference that gets really spicy. You got Vancouver's on top, San Diego FC's in second, LAFC on 59, Minnesota United on 58, Seattle Sounders in fifth on 52, Austin on 47. So those 6 are fine. They're definitely making the playoffs. Timbers should be in as well, but they have one win in their last 6 on 44. So they could still be caught potentially by FC Dallas, who are on 41. In the 8th spot, Real Salt Lake on 40. Now, those are the top 9 teams. Colorado also has 40. And the San Jose Earthquakes, and I'm rocking their retro kit, San Jose Clash kit. I'm going to their game against Austin FC this weekend, so we'll see if Bruce Arena, he's going to need basically FC Dallas to lose.
Can you get me one of those kits?
Yeah, you want one?
I was just going to ask the same off air, but I'll ask on it.
Yeah, I'm going to ask on air.
On air. Listen, they also gave me, look at these gazelles they gave me as well.
12s, Jim.
Sick. You want size 12? Also, if you go to the game on this, they're giving away Christian Espinoza action, La Máquina. Action.
La Máquina. The machine.
The machine.
Yes.
La Máquina.
So
they're giving out action figures. This is the
pronunciation tones.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, not a bobblehead. They're going with action figures. So if you go to the game,
that's cool.
I'm going to be there.
Like
I'm going to be there. So if you want one of these and a jersey, I'll hook you guys up. If that's what you want.
Yes.
I'm going to keep it in the
large,
box.
Please.
Size large. I'm on it.
Size large
but I'm going to the game, and the Quakes still have a chance. They need some help. They need Dallas losing.
San Jose's at home, right? They're
Colorado,
at home against Austin.
Yeah, so San Jose's at home.
Yeah. Who's Colorado's got
LAFC, who still has something to play for because they want to get the number 2 seed.
What about RSL?
RSL's at St. Louis. RSL only has 3 wins out of 16 away from home.
Yeah,
so
is it a trap game, Tones?
So FC Dallas is at Vancouver, right? This is a potential. Like, they got to do the business. San Jose's got to beat Austin at home, and Austin still has a little something. They've already just booked 6. They don't actually have.
That's the only drama of the day.
Yeah, that's really the biggest drama. But I'm going to be there. So if you're going to be there, come say hi. I'd like to see everybody, and I'm going to work on getting jerseys for these guys. And it should be a lot of fun. So decision day. Can I give it just one last early prediction based on everything you've seen so far in this season? Who do you think is going to go on to win MLS Cup? I'm not going to hold you to it, but just like, what are your vibes right now? What's your feel? Chuck, I'm coming to you.
God. So
New England Revolution's out. They're not making the playoffs.
They're out, so I can't be a homer. By the way, I think when we're talking about the Eastern Conference, it's hard for me to say Inter Miami aren't going to figure out a way to get it done. When you sign a Rodrigo de Paul,
they don't have the defense.
I know their backline's been atrocious. If they can beat Nashville and get the 2nd seed, and they don't have to travel to Cincinnati in the semifinals of the Eastern Conference, right? And they play in the Eastern Conference final, I see them getting to the final. But if I had to pick a team, it's between Vancouver and LAFC.
All right.
And I think Thomas Mueller, he brings so much quality. Ryan Gauld's back. I think they're going to be difficult to beat. But LAFC, the way they have defended and allowed Son and Bouanga to really just crush teams on the counter in transition, they can break teams down one-on-one in low blocks at times. In their form, I'm going to go with LAFC. Are you going to be your champions?
All right. Steve Cherundolo riding off into the sunset with another MLS Cup.
Two MLS Cup championships riding into the sunset.
There you go. Where are you, Tones? I mean, I guess it would be pretty cool to see like an LAFC Inter Miami final just because of the big names involved.
I'd love that.
Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, last ever professional game, right? Because they've announced their retirements. So there'd be some romanticism.
I think that's what's driving them, to be honest. I think that's a big part of it. I think it's a big part of them not making a playoff run last year. And they kind of put all their eggs in the basket for the regular season. They set the points record, but then they faltered. It's almost like they've saved up a little on this run to be able to really go after it in the playoffs.
All right.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a driving factor. Those guys now retiring. For me, Inter Miami needs this MLS Cup more than anybody does in Major League Soccer because if Busquets and Jordi Alba leave, which we know they are at the end of the season, Do we think of the first part of the experiment as a success for Inter Miami? I would say no, we don't. Now they got to rebuild themselves, and they started that with Rodrigo De Paul and all of that. But in the end, I think it's LAFC that will lift the trophy. The inclusion of Son and what he's done with this group has been amazing, and how quickly it's happened. Yeah. Prior to this international break, we talked about it, right? It was 18 goal contributions between those two consecutive, with no one else being part of it. But Vancouver is a tough out. If you have to play in Vancouver, it's not going to be easy.
Nope.
So I'm going to go. I'm going to go with all of that in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to go Cincinnati makes the finals. They figure out a way to make the finals, and LAFC, and they lift the trophy.
Here's one thing. Columbus Crew are currently in 9th, and they clearly have the quality to do it, but just couldn't get out.
No, their injuries.
There's two injury. Yeah,
I don't know.
Out.
These guys experience. I'm just saying. I just think that you wouldn't want to face them going into it, and whoever gets the number 9 seed in the West, hopefully it's the Quakes. We'll turn that into some momentum to pull off some upsets. But that's it. We'll call it a show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, have a great weekend, including you, Jeremy. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you on the other side of it. MLS Decision Day. MLS Decision Day. Enjoy the weekend. It should be a lot of fun. Later. Appreciate you. Peace out.
Cut. We're still live. Cut it. Let's go. Cut. It's coming. Cut.